Hi, welcome back. You know how I always tell you that you have to kind of roll with the punches in life, and life is full of surprises, usually pleasant ones. Well, I actually have a story for you. I'm in a chipper mood because I just finished my workout, so you get kind of a sweaty version of me today. I hope that's okay. I'm a little hot. Um, but anyway, I grew up as an only child. And so when people ask me if I'm an only child, I tell them yes and no. I'm an only child with a sister. And what I mean by that is I grew up thinking that it was just me. You know, we always tend to think that when we don't see brothers or sisters around us, we assume that it's probably just us, right? Yeah, fair assumption. But when I was expecting Jimmy, I got an email one day through classmates.com from this woman who said, I think you're my sister and I wanted to connect with you and blah, blah, blah. I'm from York, Pennsylvania, and she is from Lancaster. It's where she was born and raised. And it turns out, I called my husband, I said, I got the strangest email from this girl I don't understand. And I don't know what she wants from me. Is she stalking me? Is this a prank? What's the deal? And he knows a little bit about my family's history. And he said, you know, you need to just get in touch with her, give her a call, you know, reply to her email, whatever. And it turns out that she is my sister. And it's so weird because I had no idea that I had a sibling who was 30 minutes away, you know, raised in the next town. And she always knew about me. I never knew about her. And what the deal is, my mother was very young when she had me. She was 18 years old when she had me. And she was even younger when she had my sister, who is 2 years my senior. And, you know, my mom had a tough go of it growing up. You know, I'll talk about that another time. But it was, you know, things were not easy for her at all in her life. And so back at that time, this was in the 60s, in the early 60s, you know, you were sent away. It was a very shameful thing. You were, you know, a disgrace and embarrassment to the family, you know, whatever that means. We certainly don't want to disappoint strangers, right? So anyway, she was sent away and had this baby who she was forced to give up for adoption when the baby was 2 days old. I can't even imagine what that was like. I can't imagine what it would be like to be 15 and a half and pregnant, or to have to give up your child when they're just born, not knowing what kind of life, but being unselfish enough to want the best for that child. And, you know, it was a long story, this whole big thing, but I ended up meeting my sister right after I had my son. So he was just a few months old at that time, and she got to meet her nephew, and I got to meet my sister. And what's very interesting about the whole thing, other than the thing itself, is that my sister, who was raised in the next town, was raised by a loving Jewish couple. And my husband's Jewish, and I'm a Christian. He's Jewish. My sister's Jewish. You know, so it was just kind of this thing that, you know, sort of came full circle. But it turns out that, you know, she's this wonderful woman who looks in on my mother. We're the best of friends, and she and I are very different. We're similar in some ways, but there are certainly a number of differences in our temperament and our personalities. But, you know, it's like hand in glove. And I love having a sister. Oh, and it's funny because when I was little and I would play make-believe house with my teddy bear, since I was raised an only child, I played alone a lot. And I was very shy when I was younger. So I would stay in my room and play Sunday school and play house. And I had all my bears lined up. And I've always connected a lot, probably more so with animals than people a lot of the time, truth be told. And so anyway, but my make-believe name was Cindy, and my sister's name is Cindy, which is, I think that's kind of strange and kind of a fun little factoid. And I am so glad for the surprises that life brings. And I remember when she first, you know, came onto the scene, my dad, who's very protective of my mother, we have a different father, But my dad, my father, was very suspicious and kind of guarded about the whole thing. My mom's been through an awful lot her whole life. She almost died at 5. She lost her father when she was 10 months old, and then her stepfather died, and they were very poor, and there was, an element of, certainly neglect and probably abuse in that home of 6 children. And it was a tough go. And so she had to carry the burden of never telling me about this sibling of mine. I'm not sure if it was for fear I would judge her. Hi, Mom, it's me. Don't you know me at all? But anyway, but in her defense and in all fairness, times were different, right? And what was acceptable was not acceptable, back then. And I'm so glad my sister reached out, and my dad, like I said, he was very suspect about the whole thing and said, what is it? What does she want? And he was just being protective of my mother. After all these years, why now? What's the deal? And I told him, I said, I'm 3,000 miles away, and let's just see where this goes. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm really a big believer in that. And don't close the door on people unless they've given you a reason to do that. But, but assume the best and work your way backwards on a case-by-case basis. If it's a job, if it's a relationship, if it's a whatever the thing is, just assume the best. And then just kind of, adjust on an as-needed basis, your course, your path. So anyway, it's wonderful because I think my sister has experienced some closure. And she had 2 wonderful parents, by the way, who raised her. And her mother, the lady who raised her, knows my mother, and everyone gets along fine. And, it's good. There's peace. There is peace. And there is not even closure like, okay, well, great. Those questions have been answered. Nice knowing you. See you later. It's not like that at all. My sister and I have our relationship between the 2 of us. She and my mother have their relationship. And my sister, of course, maintains, she thinks of her mother as her mother, the lady who raised her. And, life is just full of surprises. And we just kind of need to give people and give situations the benefit of the doubt. And I think my mother was concerned that if she had this other child, and that meant, I don't know, like that she loved me. I don't know what the deal was exactly. I don't know. I think maybe it was just fear or anxiety, but I feel terrible for what she had to go through with leaving this baby. And where in the hell was her mother? I mean, I'm sorry, and I try not to judge that, but I think this poor girl who was a baby herself, what was she doing being in this position to begin with? And why did she think so little of herself that, she's out there with this boy taking advantage of her who is a child, and furthermore, then to be sent away because of the shameful place, right? That it was something that she did wrong, that she would shame and disgrace the family. They weren't Rockefellers. What's your deal? I mean, where's your ownership in all of that? Not meaning her. She was the child having this child. And my sister is so thankful for the family that raised her. And I am so glad that we live in the time that we do. And I just, wanted to say that I'm so thankful to have this sister and have a relationship with her that I do. And I feel that she looks out for me. I've only known her a few years, since Jimmy was little, but she's very protective of me. And I don't mind that. I will tell you, I like it a lot. And I appreciate her support and her wit. And she's very bright, and she's very gifted, and she's very insightful and creative. And she's a little bit of a Miss Sassy Pants, but I like that about her. And so I just wanted to tell you that little story. And actually, I have a song that is ready to be played today, and it's for you. It's for all of you, and it's called Home Again. and it just seemed appropriate this morning. So I'm going to leave you with this. And here it is. It's Carole King. Who doesn't like Carole King? I like Carole King. Everybody likes Carole King. So, you know, just be open to life surprises. They are waiting for you, and you have one opportunity, you know, one opportunity to respond open-heartedly and with hope and with joy and with love. And I know I'm a broken record, and I apologize. You know what? No, I don't. I don't apologize for that. That's what you get with me. You want something different? Then watch a different channel, because with me, you're going to get hope, and it's going to be annoying. And what can I tell you? I'm almost 50 years old. I'm probably not going to change. And this works for me, you know, and I am so blessed. I wouldn't trade my mother for anyone else in the world. I love her so much, and I feel protective of her, and I am so sorry for what she has had to go through in her life and endure, and for the loneliness that she must have often felt. And we just need to love people for who they are, for, you know, what they've been through, and, you know, honor the hurt that they've felt along the way, and just embrace them and love them. And likewise with my sister, you know, I am so glad that she gave it a go. I mean, and decided to roll the dice. It could have been a nightmare. She could have felt rejection by me. I could have slammed the door in her face. And I mean, she was willing to take that risk, and I am so glad she did. And I love her so much. And she hates saying I love you. And I'm not a very affectionate, touchy-feely person. I don't hug a lot. You know, I get that Irish thing, people. I love you, and I will tell you I love you, and I hope you, if you're in my life, I hope you sense that I love you. But will I come up and just start like holding hands with you and hugging you? Probably not. And if I do, you know, I want to run for the door because something's off there. But things work out. So just go with that. Have a wonderful day, and be thankful for the life that you've been given. So cheers, and go work out. You know, you'll feel great if you do. Bye.